Good day, everyone. Richard Cowperthwait for Northwest Access TV. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for joining St Albans Mayor Tim Smith with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
Good. Good. Sounds like, I guess I should note at the start, we're taping the show on Wednesday, May 26th. Sounds like we may have some weather to deal with this afternoon. The weather guy, the WVMT, grabs at about 6:05 at the start of their show in the morning. Was even saying earlier today, couldn't rule out a tornado later. Hopefully no tornado. It might be nice to get some rain for a change, but we shall see. I just want to note, in case anyone perchance is wondering out there, Mayor Smith good enough to join us typically for our bi-weekly shows. Brendan Deso, the town select board chairman, was joining us for quite a while. We seem to have lost the town for the moment anyway, but I just want to make clear that representatives from St. Albans town are more than welcome to appear on this show, with the city, without the city. Anyway, and I've certainly left messages to the town, so in case anybody's wondering, I am not purposely neglecting the good folks in St. Albans town. But anyway, happy to have the mayor with us. And
but people would understand if you did, Richard.
Yeah. Again, we're taping the show on Wednesday, May 26th, just coming up a little bit before Memorial Day weekend. And Tim, the city will be having a Memorial Day observance on Memorial Day Monday, May 31st.
I've been talking to Ron Shangra, who is a representative of the American Legion. And historically, American Legion organizes the Memorial Day Parade, and the VFW organizes the Veterans Day activities. So Ron contacted me probably 10 days ago, and they're going to move forward with the ceremony. A small parade leaving from BFA at about 10:30. And he did mention that the BFA band, who historically has always been in the parade and done an excellent job, and also have played the national anthem, will not be there only because they had not been congregating and practicing for because of COVID. So that will be an absence this year, which is too bad because they do a great job. But Ron's moving forward. He said he's got some good turnout with the fire department and others. And then there'll be some speeches up on the monument to follow. So, yeah, so it'll be nice to get back. There was a small one last year, I believe.
Really?
Warren Ham scheduled it. I'm trying to remember if that was Memorial Day or Veterans Day. It may have been Veterans Day. Yeah. But, yeah, so to answer your question, they are moving forward. There will be a ceremony.
Oh, glad to hear. I guess another sign that things are at least, getting back to normal, getting there, I guess.
Yeah, last couple of nights I was writing my water bill mayor's message and accumulating some information, and it was great to see you're going to have these among many others, I'm guessing, will happen, but the three big ones are farmers market started in St. Albans. Yeah. The Bay Farmers Market begins tomorrow night. Yeah. Both car shows, Bay Car Show is on for June 5th.
June 5th, Saturday, June 5th.
And the City Car Show, the Classic that Kathy Manhan organizes, will be held on Main Street on July 17th.
Excellent.
So those, in addition to, I think I'd shared with some folks that we were looking at a reduced concert schedule, but as it turns out, we're going to go with a full 11-week concert schedule in Taylor Park, and that will begin. That will begin Wednesday, June 16th, and we started off with the Citizens Band. Those concerts go from 5:30 to 8:30, and we have a number of local bands, Rushmore, Squirrel.
Friend Nobby Reed, is Nobby in the mix?
I think he is. I think he's the second week, if I'm not mistaken. So check the city's webpage for the schedule, but it'll be every Wednesday, 5:30.
Great. Nice to hear that.
Yeah, it is.
Governor's been talking for a while now about trying to get back to normal around July 4th, and I guess more recently saying if the state can hit, the 80% vaccination rate, which I guess we're pretty close to, 76, 77% or something. He's saying if we hit 80%, all restrictions will be off, and
Yeah.
it sounds like that may happen pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I was, I would say, optimistic when I heard 11,000. I'm still optimistic, but I guess
I guess
they
they
double
had-
counted a couple.
Right, more like 25, 26,000. or
The
something.
news last night said
Oh,
17,000.
17, not as bad.
So, and I know the downtown clinic that the hospital does at the Congress and Main building,
Yeah.
they do between 200 and 300 on any given day. So, that's in one town. And I don't know if the complex is still doing theirs with the National
I
Guard.
think so, because I think I went by there yesterday or the day before and saw a sign up. I think so, but
So let's say downtown does 200 and complex is 200,
yeah,
and 400 a day. It won't take long to get to, and that's just St. Albans. So
yeah,
I don't think it will take long to get to that 17,000.
right. I'm sure probably I would guess some people, as I do, who haven't gotten shots, still seems to be some resistance, but not too much. I guess biggest concern in the state is just young people for whatever reason. They're like 12 to 29 age group, not getting, in the shots at the percentage that older folks are, but. Some folks, what do you hear from folks who aren't getting shot, just concerned about?
I haven't encountered many.
Not many.
Some in the early stages had not gotten it, but sort of came around.
Yeah.
I go by 2 conversations within our family, of which my wife is active in the administering of the shots and organizing.
Yeah.
And then she said, it's just another flu shot, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
it's based on that strain. If we all get flu shots, this isn't a whole lot different from that,
Yeah.
other than the fact that maybe it wasn't, no one really knew what the outcomes were. But as it turned out, it's proven fine. And then my 10-year-old or 12-year-old son, when my wife asked him if he wanted to get a shot, his comment was, "Why wouldn't I?"
Hey, my kind of kid.
I
That's
mean,
right.
at 12 years old, he's like, "Why wouldn't I?" I mean,
Good. That's a great response.
yeah. So I think we'll get there. It won't be long, and
Yeah.
it'll be nice to. As I've shared with other people, Richard, it's just been surreal. I mean, we're going.
Boy, talking 15 months or so.
Yeah, 15 months of continuing mask wearing guideline, and then we're gonna almost go cold turkey. We can be past all of that. It almost seems like a bad dream in some ways.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you. City Hall's still closed to the public, Tim?
No, City Hall opened up first week of May.
No, glad I asked. Really?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is that so back to people can walk in and do
doors are
business?
open, and all the offices are manned, and
Oh, great.
so
Excellent. And in-person city council, you've been doing in-person
we
meetings?
did one in May. We'll continue down that road. What we need to figure out is sort of find that happy medium between the input person and the Zoom piece
Yeah.
to keep people engaged. I'm not technologically, I'm not sure how that works. Whether we all would have to have a computer at our desk or a laptop.
Yeah.
I leave that up to others, Richard, but it is a discussion.
And believe me, you're light years ahead of
Yeah,
me.
I don't know about that.
Nobody's in the dark ages more than myself. Interviewed Swanton Village people last night, and they made the point that they're still doing Zoom meetings, but they said that certainly did get them more participants in their regular in-person meetings. So there's been, I guess, certainly some good out of that, especially if
Yeah.
you're getting people who would never show up in person who have been
Yeah.
able to participate via Zoom, I guess.
Yeah, we have to find that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go Zoom all the time. I mean, without being in person. I think in person is just for the council interaction, it's that much better. But have to try to figure out how to incorporate the Zoom piece.
Yeah. How's the Kingman streetscape project, Tim? Is that off to a decent, I think it was,
Well-
a 1 week delay in the beginning, but doing
Yeah.
okay?
Had a rough start on last Friday, last Friday hit an unmarked water line
Oh, really? Wow.
that had trouble finding the valve to shut it off.
Really? Wow.
The pipe that was there was 9-inch, and a lot of the standard amenities to repair that are 8-inch.
Really? Wow.
And then they had it contained, and it took a while. It took almost 10 hours to get it contained.
Wow.
And then it blew the sleeve off at 2 in the morning. So,
Wow.
so I think
Wow.
we learned a lot about the system right around that area. There's just so much that's unmarked and unmapped that
And some of these pipes are just like very, very old, I assume.
old and brittle. It
Yeah.
doesn't take much to. So I think we learned a lot last week and moving forward. But other than that, I think they've done a great job of allowing the access to those businesses on Kingman with one-way traffic. I think they've marked it off well, and it seems like they have a good plan in place.
But again, that's all summer, even into the fall, like November completion.
I think November, December.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. The apartment building, part of the kind of the downtown project, the second apartment building across from the library is getting close to.
No, it has tenants.
Oh, is that right? So tenants are in there.
Tenants are in there, and
Wow.
don't hold me to this, but out of 30 apartments, I think 22 were spoken for.
Because I know you said before there was a concern whether you'd fill all those apartments. Some concern about that, or?
Well, I think it was more concern. I think what I shared was Champlain Housing had some concerns, so that was the other. So you have two sides. You have the sort of market rate and then the low to mod. And they weren't sure what the demand was going to be for those in St. Albans, but as it turned out, I think they're all full. And then on the market rate, there are 20 or 22 have been spoken for out of the 30. So I think both parties are very pleased with what the response has been. And 2 weeks, it'll be a week ago Sunday. We were walking by, and there was a lady on the patio or the deck reading. So. And in discussion with the city manager, Dominic, he said that he thought they were up to about 20 or 22.
Oh, good. Good.
So,
and in fact, I played some tennis with Becky Manahan the other day. Becky, the number 2 person, very solid, capable person with her library job. But I think the library's getting pretty close to getting kind of back to normal, at least for, maybe they're calling them purposeful visits. But I think the library's getting pretty close to. Getting.
Yeah, that's in my message as well. You're stealing all my info, Richard, all my intel.
But that would be nice. That's certainly. Libraries mean the world to me. I love libraries, and that'll be nice to get that back.
No, they. What won't be happening this summer is the sort of the kids programming.
Right, you mentioned that. And the bookseller, which I love, I guess no bookseller, at least for the moment anyway, as they try to figure out staffing maybe.
So they're going to, come fall, they'll start up the story hour and the special events and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, to your point, purposeful visits it can entail using the computers, the Wi-Fi, going in and read the newspapers, take a book out. I do know that they're trying to restrict that to about a half hour, and they're not going to time folks, but they just encourage that period of time for a little bit here.
Yeah.
So
The part of the downtown project, the new building across from City Hall, CCV's new headquarters. I know the hospital was going to get a fair amount of that space, and the hospital didn't end up using as much space as they originally intended. And is that up to them to try to find another use for that space as opposed to the city?
well, they have been using it for the vaccine clinic,
Right.
so that's in place for a little bit,
Got one of my
couple
shots
more
in there.
weeks.
Yeah.
So that worked out very well.
Yeah.
If anyone had been in that space, they can see that it hasn't been totally finished.
Right.
So the hospital is responsible for it, and I do know that they're looking for alternatives for it moving forward. But the rest of the floor with the training area and all that, it turned out beautiful. And I think I saw where they were having they had their first graduation class for nursing, if I'm not
really?
mistaken. I think it amounted to, they can take up to 27, but don't hold me to this, but I think the first class was 17 individuals graduated with a form of nursing degree.
And the old CCV headquarters off South Main Street, future St. Albans Police Department headquarters, is work actually started there or not? Really?
Demolitions definitely started,
really?
and even to the point where they've started to rebuild some.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, that activity is moving forward for sure.
Right. And speaking of City PD, of course, just a little over 1 more month with the St. Albans Town contract. Have you downsized as the City PD at the level it need?
Through attrition, we've downsized. Some officers have, from my understanding, have taken other jobs as well. I had a discussion with the city manager yesterday about what direction we want to go moving forward. Do we sort of maintain that small department look and feel?
Yeah.
Or do we have discussions outside the area to see if there's anything that we might be able to assist some towns with?
Speaking of which, do you know Highgate? Of course, City PD is patrolling Highgate at this point. I assume the contract through June 30. Is the next year? Have you got the next year? Do you know in Highgate?
Yeah, not yet, no. That was on the tip of my tongue to ask Dom yesterday what the status of that was, and I got sidetracked. But I think Highgate has been pleased with the service. They had they had some difficult events over the last year with one lady being hit by a car and others. So I think they were pleased with the service that during some difficult times.
Yeah.
So I think we're expecting to continue on with that. I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think it's worked out well for both parties. So the problem, the discussion we're having is the problem when you have a smaller department is that there's not a lot of room for advancement. There's not a lot of different opportunities. Whereas, when we were 20, 21 officers, and there was different opportunities. There was the street crimes. There was, you could be promoted in rank.
Yeah.
When you have 12, it's a little more difficult, especially when you have some long tenured officers who have been in the department for a while. So that's sort of the issue we face is when you recruit new officers, young new officers. Yeah. Many of them want to know where the opportunity for advancement is, and the new and younger officers usually end up on those off shifts, the weekends, the evenings, and if they get to the point of having a family, then that makes it difficult. So those are all discussions we.
Is the street crimes unit that is still ongoing? That is still with us, or
that will be done in June or July.
Okay.
So, but we definitely we're looking at ways of bringing that back for sure. I think it made a huge difference for both city and town.
Is there any way City PD could get together with the Sheriff's Department to continue that?
Yeah, I think we're open to that discussion for sure.
Yeah.
We're doing dispatch for sheriffs, and but I think that's I think there's an opportunity for a conversation there to moving forward.
Yeah. Anything to report on the USCIS situation, U.S. Customs and Immigration Services?
Yeah, so they had put out a request for letters of intent to see who was interested. You had 4 parties submit a letter, all located within the city or town. And so the next step, the big piece with that was the government wanted at least 2 letters of intent. They wanted to know they had some offers which they could choose from, some opportunities. And in light of that, they did get 4. So the next step will be they will put out a request for proposal, and those 4 individuals or businesses will have an opportunity to submit a proposal to address whatever the requirements are within the proposal. So that will be the next step. We haven't seen that yet. I'm not sure what the timeline is, but we're watching that closely.
The hope, obviously, to keep hundreds of jobs and hopefully another facility in St. Albans.
Yeah.
I know you've been in communication with Senator Leahy's office. Have you gotten some response? The senator, of course, played a huge role in this, St. Albans, I think, getting this facility in the first place.
Yeah, no, they kept us up to date. When we get updates, they usually come from Senator Leahy's office. And that was one of them, that there was 4 letters of intent. Let me just back up. If we never got at the minimum of 2 letters of intent, we believe that request would have then been shared in Chittenden County. So if we couldn't prove we had 2 parties interested and we only had 1, they were then going to move and put the same request out in Chittenden County. So there would have been an opportunity to potentially lose it from the county. But with the 4 letters, it appears very likely that it will stay in the St. Albans area.
That's great. So you're pretty confident in that, the way it looks right now, then?
Yeah, for sure. I think that is how it will play out.
Speaking of Senator Leahy in the news, Emerson Lind had an editorial in the Messenger, heard him on radio. He had his first appearance on VMT earlier this week, but I guess Senator Leahy's been making some noise, talking to folks about likely running for re-election next year. And I guess if he runs, he's obviously got to be reelected. And if he serves another full term, I guess he would be the longest serving senator ever. But anyway, I guess you could deal with Senator Pat for another 6 years if that's what happens.
Yeah, we have a good relationship with his staff. Chris Saunders, John Tracy, there's a number of them that we deal with on many topics. And have a very strong relationship with them. For me, I wasn't sure if he would run again. I think
I've got mixed emotions about that. Not that I'm a young guy, but
I'm in that same boat. And a 6-year term is a long time. I mean, a lot can happen in 6 years. And I'd hate to see him get to the point of a Strom, Thurman, and Strong was Strom. Right?
Strom was here into his 90s, I think.
100.
Is that
didn't Emerson?
He made it to the century.
I thought Emerson's article said 100.
Oh, okay, didn't you? Yeah, no.
And he was being pushed around in a wheelchair, and not. The decisions were being made by staff for sure. So
hopefully it doesn't come to that point.
Yeah, no, it's. And part of me says, how do you keep that pace up? I mean, and you and I probably have trouble following him around for a day. And he's doing that every day. Flights back and forth from D.C. and he's been I blew into town in November '75, about exactly 1 year after he was elected to his first term, in kind of a mild upset to then Chittenden County prosecutor, of course. But he's been one of my senators in Vermont for every day of my life up here. And the thing that's, as you look back on it, it's for him to be elected as a senator at 34 is impressive. I mean, that was...
Vermont was no, Democratic-dominated state back then, obviously, for folks who know Vermont.
But just being 34 and the learning curve that you would have in D.C., but he's obviously done well, highly respected. Yeah,
certainly Franklin County's been done a lot of stuff for Franklin County, certainly. Excuse me. Speaking of senators, we talk about labor shortage, especially with your day job with Franklin County Industrial Development Corp. I thought of you. I went up to my camp in the Kingdom for a couple nights and picked up the Newport paper. This story is not attributed. It might even be a release from Senator Sanders' office, but I thought of you when I read this quote. I'll just read a couple sentences. This is Senator Sanders quoting, "Let's be clear. There is not a shortage of willing workers in America. There is a shortage of employers willing to pay workers a living wage with decent benefits." And something tells me the second part of that quote, maybe something to that, but I'm guessing you're not going to buy the first part of that quote. Boy, there sure seems to be a shortage of workers. It sounds like about the biggest issue for you every day around here.
Yeah,
That quote kind of jumped out at me. It sure seems like there's a shortage of workers to me, but you would know that far better than me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm in my spell of visiting select boards.
Yeah.
I think I have 2 left within the county,
Wow.
and that's the hot topic is finding
Right.
people. I mean, you can't go into a store in St Albans or Burlington and not see a help wanted sign on the door. I mean, for Senator Sanders to say that, I think he's out of touch for sure. It's not the pay issue. I mean, you can go Barry Callebaut, Ben Jai, all of those.
Yeah.
They're starting at $17, $18 an hour.
Yeah.
Senator Sanders is still fighting for $15 an hour, and there's no need to spend that energy on that.
We've talked about it. I mean, it sure seems like the market's taking care of
the
that as
market
we
is
speak, pretty much.
Definitely taking care of that. There's no doubt about it. And we're talking just starting wage. In addition to that, you're getting outstanding benefits. Education reimbursement, vacation, health care, all of that.
Even in some cases, some financial bonuses if you take a job and hang for like a couple months or something.
I heard one, and I think it was for a nursing home, a $7,500 signing bonus.
$7,500.
$7,500. I mean,
wow.
A year, previously there was, $1,200 or $2,000, $2,500.
Wow.
But this one was $7,500, which I was totally surprised at.
Right.
You have, there's definitely a shortage of workers.
Yeah.
And when I say that, there's people who could be working that are not working.
Yeah.
I think the bodies are out there. And I've said it to the select boards, and I've said it here, Richard, that we as a community are going to start taking steps backwards if we can't fill these jobs.
Yeah.
We are companies that FCIDC, communities, city, town, Enosburg, whoever it is, have worked hard to create an environment to attract these businesses and to keep them.
Yeah.
And we'll start going backwards if we can't fill those jobs.
Yeah.
K-Tech,
Boy, they're shaky. They're just barely trying to hang in there, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And there's people out there that could be working, but in my opinion, we make it too easy for them not to work.
Yeah. Sounds like some well-intentioned efforts maybe went a little overboard. Down to about a minute and a half, Tim. Community swimming pool, are we talking construction soon?
Yeah, I emailed Dom, city manager, on that to see if we have a starting date. I know there's still some engineering going on relative to the road access and some other stuff.
Right.
But at one point I heard and thought it was June, July we'll be breaking ground on that and moving forward.
Oh, very good. So it sounds like down to a minute. Again, sounds like we're making progress on a number of fronts, but looking forward to a good summer. Sounds like an active summer, as you said. Yeah, I've been to the farmers market underway, a lot of concerts to look forward to, car show. I guess I haven't. Is Bay Day happening? I'm not sure if...
That's a good question. I know the town of St. Albans took it over.
Yeah.
I don't know if they moved it to... I don't know this, but there was discussion of moving to the fall just to avoid any other COVID regulations.
Right.
But that may change.
Right.
Excuse
But
me,
anyway,
that may change.
But aside from that, it sounds like we have a lot of good things to look forward to.
A lot of good things.
Anyway, so looking forward to summer and again, just getting things back to hopefully pretty close to normal here in a month or so.
We hope so.
Anyway, Tim, thank you very much. St. Albans Mayor Tim Smith, good enough to join us. Thanks to producer Roger Lindela. And thanks for watching us on Northwest Access TV. I'm Richard Cowperthwait, and we'll see you next time. See ya.